Now, let me ask you something. How many times have you found yourself thinking, my drawing isn't improving, what could be missing? I bet more times than you'd like to admit, right? I've been there too. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that often what holds us back from improving isn't a lack of talent, but a lack of direction. We can spend hours, days, or months drawing, but if we don't know how to work on certain aspects, that practice might lead nowhere. So today, I'll show you a shortcut. It's not magic, of course. I'm not going to promise that you'll walk away drawing like a master in a few days. But if you apply these tips consistently, you will see significant improvement in your drawing in much less time than you think. By the way, if you're tired of drawing and feeling like nothing is improving, pay attention. Marc Brunet's art school for digital artists was what pulled my drawings out of stagnation and gave me an insane boost. It's like going through an art school, but for a fraction of the price and only with what really matters: perspective, anatomy, color, composition, and much more, all explained step by step, from beginner to advanced. It is, by far, the best and most complete art course on the market. Don't waste time stuck at the same level. The link's in the description. Check it out now. Let's get back to the video. Observe like an artist. I know, it sounds obvious to say you need to observe, but hold on. There's more to this tip than meets the eye. When I say observe like an artist, I mean truly paying attention to every detail of what you see around you. Have you ever stopped to notice how light hits an object and creates shadows? Or how a tree leaf isn't exactly symmetrical? Everything around you is an open-air drawing class. If you want to improve, start training your eye. Observe shapes, textures, shadows, and light. Try to understand how things truly are, instead of how your mind thinks they are. A common mistake when we start drawing is to depict things as we assume they should be. A face, for example. Our brain tricks us into believing it's all symmetrical and neat, but in real life, the human face is full of asymmetries, irregular volumes, and nuances. It's precisely this imperfection that makes a drawing more realistic. A simple exercise for this is to draw everyday objects. Choose a cup, a pen, or a fruit and try drawing it, paying attention to every detail: where the light hits, where the shadow forms, the angle of the curves. Don't try to guess how it looks, really observe. This will sharpen your eye in an incredible way. Deliberate practice makes all the difference. Have you heard the saying, practice makes perfect? Well, it's partially true. In reality, deliberate practice makes perfect. What does this mean? It means that it's not enough to just draw for the sake of drawing. You need to have a focus, a goal, with each drawing you make. If you want to improve, set clear goals for each drawing session. Want to work on shadows? Then practice with exercises focused on that. Drawing objects that will challenge you in that aspect. Want to improve proportions? Focus on drawing human figures. Study anatomy, the relationships between different body parts. Deliberate practice is what separates the amateur from the constantly evolving artist. Instead of drawing anything just for the sake of it, concentrate on the areas where you feel the most difficulty. This will speed up your progress tremendously. Keep a sketchbook, your idea laboratory. You know what all amazing artists have in common? They have a sketchbook, but not just any sketchbook. This notebook is like a laboratory where they test new ideas, experiment with different strokes, and make sketches and doodles without the pressure of creating something perfect. Keeping a sketchbook is essential because it allows you to explore your creativity freely and without commitment. Here, you can make mistakes, redo things, try new ideas, and most importantly, learn from your mistakes. Plus, it will show you how much you've progressed over time. Is there anything more motivating than flipping through the first few pages of your sketchbook and seeing how much you've improved? So, if you don't have one yet, go ahead and start one right now. It doesn't need to be expensive or fancy. A simple notebook will do. The important thing is to have a space to put your ideas on paper every day. Study the works of the masters. Great artists don't just appear out of nowhere. They study, copy, and learn from the masters who came before them. And this is something you can and should do as well. Choose an artist you admire and study their work. Try to understand how they use lines, how they work with shadows, and what techniques they apply. Here's an extra tip. Copying isn't cheating. On the contrary, it's one of the best ways to learn. Of course, copy to learn, not to reproduce someone else's work exactly as your own. By studying the masters, you start to understand what makes their work so unique, and you can begin to incorporate these techniques into your own style. Pick a famous work you love, whether it's by Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Picasso, or anyone else. Now, try replicating some strokes. See what you can learn from it, and gradually adapt it to your way of drawing. You'll be surprised at how much this can teach you. Step out of your comfort zone. Take risks. This may be the hardest point for many people. Drawing what you already know and have mastered is comfortable. It doesn't give you that fear of failure, right? But here's the problem. The comfort zone is where growth dies. Yes, that's right. If you really want to improve, you need to constantly challenge yourself. If you always draw characters in static poses, try drawing them in motion. If you only draw faces from the front, take a risk with profiles or different angles. Break out of the routine. And the best part? Don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are part of the process. That's how we learn. Constantly challenging yourself will open your mind to new possibilities and make you evolve faster than you imagine. Be patient and persevere. This final tip might be the most important of all. Learning to draw and improving is a process that takes time. You can't skip stages or get frustrated because you haven't achieved the desired result right away. Every skill requires patience, and drawing is no different. Every line you draw, every shadow you study, every attempt, successful or not, is a step forward. If you look at great artists, they all spent years practicing and honing their techniques. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit halfway is often the ability to persevere. Remember that every drawing, no matter how simple, teaches you something. Sometimes progress is slow, almost imperceptible, but it's happening. So be patient and, most importantly, don't give up. Stay focused, keep practicing, observing, and learning, and the results will come. Understand the fundamentals. Sometimes we get so caught up in details, like textures or shading, that we forget the basics. But it's impossible to truly improve in drawing without understanding the fundamentals. Two of the most important pillars are perspective and proportion. They are the foundation for any type of drawing, whether it's objects, landscapes, or characters. Perspective is what gives your drawing a sense of depth, making it look realistic and three-dimensional. When you master perspective, you can represent anything convincingly, whether it's a long street narrowing on the horizon or a building seen from below. And proportion keeps things the right size in relation to one another. For example, in a human figure drawing, understanding body proportions, like the size of the head relative to the torso, and so on, is essential so that your character doesn't look crooked or distorted. Anatomy also comes into play here, especially if you enjoy drawing people or animals. Studying the structure of the body, how muscles connect, and how bones shape the forms will give you much more confidence in your strokes. A quick tip: take a few days just to practice perspective and proportion. Do simple drawings, focusing on mastering these techniques. Trust me, this study will give you a solid foundation for anything you draw in the future. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next ones. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to check the description. There are several important links that can help you even more. See you in the next video.